Warning, this episode includes a rant.
Riders that put their feet on the
Riders that put their feet on the ground, riders that paddle walk. Stop it, please, it's wrong. I don't care if you figured it out on your own or you've been taught, it's wrong. Don't put your feet down, that's how things get injured. Your feet touch the ground, they get pulled back into your hard panniers, into your soft panniers, you break your leg, you're stuck, it's wrong. I'm telling you, I have seen people taught how to sit down and put their feet out, how to put one foot on the ground. It is dangerous, don't do it. You want to stay on the bike. The reason some instructors or some schools will teach adventure riders to put a foot down is because they come from backgrounds like trials riding or dirt bike riding, where they're riding 200-pound bikes in the dirt on pure knobbies. 600 pounds on street tires or modest knobbies is not a dirt bike. Dirt bike riders do throw a leg, but they don't go straight down. They go forward. And what happens most of the time is they're coming into a berm or a turn. They'll come from a back position and they drop forward. And what they're doing is throwing the foot over the front axle, shifting the weight forward to plant the bike and get it down into the bank. The second reason for doing that is that the bikes will lean over so far in the dirt that their leg will get caught under the bike. So they have to be all the way up high. The adventure bikes aren't going to lean that far. There's other things that touch the ground long before your foot does. There's no reason to throw a leg down on an adventure bike. We dab. Dabbing is a reactive technique. It's not something you plan to do. It's something that you react when something doesn't go as planned. And there's two common reasons for that. One is you read the trail ahead of you and you misread the trail. There's a big rock that kicks the bike out farther than you expected. Both tires slide out from underneath the bike. These sort of scenarios will cause a dab. The other one is your skill level's low, or as we get more fatigued, we're less reactive and we don't balance on the bike itself. So we end up, the bike starts to lean, we end up on the wrong side of the balance point, the bike starts to fall, and we have to dab to get back into that balance point. Here's what happens. You're riding down the trail and you're looking awesome and all the people are seeing you and you think you're in the Dakar and that's awesome, and all of a sudden your front end slips, and it slips and you didn't expect it to. The bike is now off balance. So as you're standing here, it slips out from underneath you, the bike comes off of balance, and what you do is you touch the ground, and it's called a dab, because all you're doing is dabbing the ground to get back into balance. It's not recovering the motorcycle. People think the bike is falling and they're pushing to get the bike back up, and that's not what's happening. You're trying to get your body back to that weightless rider position, back to that neutral balance. So when the bike goes over, what I'm doing is pushing so that I get back up. So as I come over, I'm going to get back into that neutral balance point. And that's the idea. And a dab is just a quick touch. If your whole foot plants, that's dangerous. And that's when your foot gets swept back into the hard panniers and bad things happen, or they get pinned between your soft panniers. You just want to have just a light kick. And generally 1 to 2 is all you're looking for. If the bike is off balance, it's just a quick dab, just a touch and back. If you're really out of balance, if you're in rock or deep sand and you're slipping all over, a dab still means, even from both sides, it's the same thing. It's very quick. And we're not using our arms to do this. It's just using the feet. So when you step down, it's just a back and up, or from here and back. To learn how to dab well is difficult to do on the trail, because dabs don't happen with purpose. They happen after the fact. I can't stress enough the importance of having proper off-road footwear. Here's some things you can do at home on your bike to get ready so when it happens, it's more reactive. And the first thing is just put the hands on the bars and stay nice and light, and just practice stepping down and then back into position. And this helps build the muscles on the legs so that you can always dab and end up back in the exact spot. In fact, if you haven't been working out and you're looking for something to do, this is exactly one of the things you can practice doing. Just stepping down on both sides. Once you get into that and you realize you're pulling on the bars, or you're not sure if you're pulling up on the bars, Then do the same drill, but do it with no handlebars. Don't hold on to the bike at all. It's just down and back. My outside leg is locking up against the bike, so not only am I dabbing with this leg, but the other leg helps pull me up. And that's one of the ways to help cheat around the fact that we may not have all the strength necessary to do this on a very regular basis. So technique does make a difference. And there is a technique to this. And again, as I come down to dab, I lock the outside leg in. So I'm using both legs to pull myself back up into position. Woo! When you're riding, whatever's high, that's always going to be the best place to dab from because it's closer and you're not moving your upper body, you're in position. There are those situations where things get so crazy that when you go to dab, you end up losing complete control and both your feet are out and you're holding on and you're just trying to get through. And it happens to the best of us. But even in those situations, that's not a technique. Paddle walking your bike is not what we're trying to do. Yes, keep your bike moving forward, but try to get up on those pegs. And the more you practice dabbing, the more likely you are to be able to recover if you end up in the paddle walking scenario. Mud, get back on the pegs. Sand, get back on the pegs. Deep rock, get back on the pegs. This is where the control is. Always get back up on the pegs.